Hello, YouTube world. It's Johnny Mo coming to you with Real Talk 2. I just want to say I appreciate the lovely, awesome content of the conversation we had down in the comment section. Just awesome, awesome, awesome content. In this video, I'm going to reveal to you my schedule, how I do things. I realized in the last video I really talk about how I do things, but I'm going to tell you how I do things might help you. And I'm going to reveal to you the best advice that was a common thread in the comment section, which I absolutely would love to do, and I'm going to work to get there. Number one, okay, so at the beginning of the year, what I do is I go through a Monday through Friday list. I've kind of always done that. I mow Monday through Friday. Now I realize some of you who are solo haven't got your list built up yet. Completely understand. This would be a great time for you to sit down and to really consider what you want to do. How much money do you want to make? Now listen, as a solo person, you're capped on how much money that you're going to make in this business if you're just mowing grass. You can only do so much. You can only cut so many hours of the day. I know you're like, I'm going to cut all day long. I'm going to cut all night long. I'm going to cut. I'm going to build up 50,000 customers. I understand all that. The truth of the matter is you only have so much time to cut. Now when you're young, you can work sun up to sundown. You can do that when you first start your business. There'll come a point where that'll get old really quick. So sitting down and setting essential goals, what you want to be at. What hourly rate do you think you can cut at? You know, it's going to be different for different parts of the country. I know, like in New Jersey, I was bidding lawns up in New Jersey. I met a guy and he was like, well, what would you cut this for back then? And you know, what I would cut it for and what he gets up there is astronomically different. He gets a lot better. I know just 30 minutes north, they get better prices than we do down here. But when I was in Florida, what I would cut for 35 is being cut for 20 and 25. And, you know, essentially a lot different down there. So dollar per hour is going to be different everywhere you go. But this is generally what I do. I sit down at the beginning of the year. Now I already have a very good list, a lot of customers. But what I do is I sit down. Very first thing I do is I organize my days, Monday through Friday, have it right here on the list. Numbers I don't do accounts, I do numbers, because I can tell you about within $10 to $15 per hour in relation to say spring cutting versus summer cutting versus fall cutting. And I can basically tell you how many I can do in a 7 to 8 to 9 hour day by the dollar per hour. And that's how I do it. I don't know how many accounts I can do, because you have a big account, a little account, a bunch of accounts. But pretty much the dollar per hour is always going to be right on. I always know my dollar per hour. So I can basically tell you how many lawns I can cut in a day, even when I get backed up. Very key advice right there is knowing your dollar per hour. That way you can realistically know how much money you can make in a day. So on my Monday, what I do is I put all my commercial on a Monday. On my Monday list, I run a big loop. I go to the north end of the town. I go down all the way downtown, and then I finish up by my house. I put all my commercial on Monday because on Memorial Day and Labor Day, I can go out in the morning and I can cut them. And those days aren't going to back me up. And I can still make it home for picnics, and I don't have to worry about picnics on Memorial Day and Labor Day. You don't want to be cutting someone's house on those days, have to call ahead or kind of drive around to see what's going on. So I do all my commercials on that day. That day is I can start at 11 and I can get home generally about 3:30 to 4:30 is about the average time. So very light day of mowing, easy day. Tuesday is very similar. I'm in the western part of my town. I can start about 10 o'clock and I can get home about 5 o'clock. So 10:30 to about 5-ish, give or take a half hour. 5 is about the latest I've been home so far, but I can probably get it done 4:30 if I really start concentrating. So it's a very light day. That leaves me a couple hours in the morning. If I needed to, I can get started earlier, like at 8:30, or I can do some landscaping or fertilizing in the morning, wait for it to dry up. Very easy to do. Very light on those 2 days, very light, especially my Monday. My Monday is really light, and because 4 of my lawns are double, because the commercial complexes I'm cutting, there's two, and then I go downtown and I cut 4 in my downtown area. So I'm only cutting 8 lawns on a Monday. I'm cutting, let me see, my Tuesday route, I'm cutting 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm only cutting 7 lawns, but they're a little bit larger and a little bit, the degree of difficulty is definitely harder because they're a little bit larger of accounts and they're all fertilized. Very difficult to cut, especially with the Fert and Squirt company we have here in town that just blast them, and they're very difficult to cut. So light days on there. So when I'm looking at my schedule, I'm looking on Monday. If I got a commercial account, I could probably slide that in there because it's such a light day. I can probably take another one there. I might do that, or I might leave it open. Don't know. Tuesday, I like to kind of leave that Tuesday open. I'm not really wanting to put on another one there just because of the degree of difficulty. I'm still getting home at a decent time. 5 o'clock is just a great time. Now Wednesday is a little tougher. There are 10 lawns. They're a little bit bigger, and it starts in the north. I have a lot of accounts. I have about 20. Let me see, 10, 21 accounts in the northern area of town, and so I split that into 2 days. So on my Wednesday, a little bit larger. I can start about 10ish and get home around 5 or 5:30ish. I'm sure when summer hits I can back that up. I can even start at 9. I might be able to throw fertilizing in there, but that day there, if you lose a day on Wednesday, and this is where the schedule gets a little bit iffy, if you lose a day there, that's going to be difficult because my Thursday is my biggest day. There's 11 lawns due on Thursday, and there's 2 that are rather big. One takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours to do. The other one takes 1 full hour. So that's 3.5 hours on just 2 accounts, and I cut 11. Now on Wednesday and Thursday that finishes out on the north, and on Friday I go down south for a very light day. I can cut from 11 to 3:30 to 4 and be done. And so I have between 8 and 11 there. I have some spots, but here's where the problem is. The last 3 weeks it has rained on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The bulk of the meat of my mowing is the problem on these dates. So like this week it rained on Thursday and I only got 4 lawns that done, so I had to throw those into my Friday. I finished my Friday list on Saturday. Now that's not too bad. I finished Saturday, I started at 11, I finished about 3:30. That's not too bad, but my scheduling, that's how I do it. Now my Monday, Tuesday is light. I could possibly do Monday and Tuesday almost together. Pretty easy to do. Smaller accounts, really network close together. Not too bad. But when it rains on Wednesday and Thursday, those bulk of those accounts, there's not a lot of room in there, especially on that Thursday. Thursday, I've not got through my Thursday list yet this year. And again, this week it's supposed to rain Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Rain in the forecast. That's a tough part of the business, and I've never been too good at accepting that. I like to keep on schedule. I like to get done. Things happen, and that's the struggles with the mowing side of the business. The mowing side of this business is very difficult, and no matter what you say, it's just hard. Even if you have crews, people say, "Oh, John, if you have crews, it's you just sit home and you run the business. You're working on the business instead of in the business." And those are very key things, but the truth of the matter is you're never totally free because you're one person away from jumping back in the truck and being overwhelmed. And it's always going to be that way, whether you have 1 truck or 2 trucks or 3 trucks, because the mowing aspect, there's a large turnover rate because you can't pay high enough wages to keep the people for longevity. Now, if you're in excavating, fertilizing, hardscaping, those areas can require you to pay that foreman $20 an hour to keep them. If you're going to pay someone $20 an hour to mow grass for you, it's going to take a big chunk of your money out, especially when you're looking at workman's comp, matching taxes, and things of that nature. So those are things to consider when you build the mowing side of your business. My schedule, I keep Saturdays open for landscaping or catch-ups. I have some room in my Friday schedule. If Thursday was to spill over to Friday, I can make Friday a full day. At this point in my career, and it's something for you to think about, I just really don't want to work past 5 o'clock. I just don't. I'm not there anymore. A little bit more established than probably most of the people even watching my channel. I live in a house. We bought this house. I have young kids. I really don't want to be working all day. So last Friday when I worked from 8 in the morning to 7:30 at night, that bothered me because I wanted to be home with the family. I wanted to eat dinner with the family. And I just, along the way, I just kind of got lost and I didn't have set goals. This is real talk. This is a real business person, been in it for 20 years. I've ran crews. I never really had goals back then. I answered the phone. I got work. I got a lot of referrals. It was the growing side of the business after it was set and grown. After about 2001, growing was easy. It was just boom. You just had all the work you wanted. It was the fact that I never really sat down and said, where do I want to be? How much money do I want? How much money do I need to make? What is my goal? Do you have a goal how much money you want in the bank? Do you have a goal how much you want to make? Like I remember when I crossed over 100,000, I was like, yeah, I did it. When he crossed over 100, yeah, I did it. But at what expense? Like how many hours of your life did you work away just so that you could have how much? Now I'm going to give you a true statement. Now, the year I ran crews, the profit that I did. Now, last year I was solo all but 1 month, and so I had dropped a lot of accounts, reorganized a bit. My profit from my solo year matched the profit of the cruise year. That's a powerful statement, and you have to think of that. You have to. As far as you going out there and you just working on the business, that's going to be a tough thing to do, because if you're just strictly mowing, you can't pay the guy enough. And that's what I found. You'll go through them. You get tired of hiring and training. You lose so much money in training, and it's just a tough thing to do. Really consider that. Sit down and think about what you want to do and how you want to schedule it. The best advice I found through all of the threads that went over in Real Talk 1, which is just awesome advice, is most guys are cutting, whether they're cutting this way, whether because they couldn't get enough to fill the 5th day, or they're just starting out, or they've done it on purpose. The guys that done this on purpose are just genius, and I applaud you. And they cut Monday through Thursday. That's it. They keep Friday open for spillovers. And as long as you can maintain your lifestyle and maintain a solid lifestyle where you're free financially and you can live off that, that's awesome. That's awesome. I applaud all of you that are doing that. At this point, I just don't want to work and work and work. When you start getting a little older, like I'm 42, I get the paper, I start to see people my age in the paper in the obituary. It makes you think just a little bit. Now, I'm not saying I'm old, I'm not saying I'm dying. It just makes you think a little bit. When you're young, you could take on the world. When you're in your 20s, you'll work sun up to sundown, 6-7 days a week, no big deal. But it takes a little longer to recuperate. I notice my arms and hands fall asleep at night. When I go like this, I got my knuckles crack. It takes a beating on you. And when you work a really hard one, it takes a little bit longer to recover from. You start thinking about those things. How much of your life do you want to work away? And how much are you willing of your life to work away to get what you want? And how much are you willing to give up if you don't know where you want to go? I always say like this, you got to have a destination before you can go somewhere. Like, I'm not just going to get in a car and ride around. You can do that. And a lot of times that's what business owners do. They ride around. They don't even know where they're going, but they're just riding around. So where do you want to be? Where do you want to go? Those are questions you have to ask. And I hope that in this video, seeing how I schedule things, looking over the comments and seeing other people schedule things, I think that'll be a real big help to you, especially sitting down and really looking at not how many accounts you have, but how much dollar per hour that you can possibly do in the mowing business. Because there's only so many hours in a day, and you can only make so much. There's an average rate, and once you find your average rate, that way you can tell you how many you can actually complete in a day. That's my time. This is Real Talk 2. And list some comments. I really enjoyed the comment section in the last video. Have a great day.